Folks, we need to talk about what's on your plate. It's more important than you might think. Did you know that over 60% of the calories consumed by Americans come from ultra-processed foods? That's a staggering amount when you really think about it. And that's right, more than half of what we're shoveling into our mouths is about as natural as my Aunt Mildred's new nose. These foods are engineered to be convenient and tasty, but at what cost? These ultra-processed foods are linked to a smorgasbord of health problems that would make even the most seasoned hypochondriac blush. We're not just talking minor issues here, we're talking obesity, diabetes, heart disease, the kind of stuff that makes your doctor sigh deeply and reach for the extra-large prescription pad. These are serious life-altering conditions. But here's the kicker. The top 1% don't want you to know about this. They benefit from keeping you in the dark. They're happier than a pig in mud, or should I say a CEO in a vat of high fructose corn syrup, keeping these dangers under wraps. It's all about profit margins for them. Why? Because processed foods are big business, my friends. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry here. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry that's about as interested in your health as a cat is in your financial portfolio. So buckle up, Buttercup. This is going to be an eye-opener. We're about to embark on a journey through the treacherous world of ultra-processed foods. It's a path filled with hidden dangers and surprising truths. By the end of this, you'll be looking at that bag of cheese puffs like it's a ticking time bomb, and trust me, you won't want to ignore it any longer. Now let's talk about convenience. It's the siren song of the modern age, luring us in with promises of more time, less effort, and the ability to eat an entire meal without ever having to wash a dish. But here's the thing, that convenience comes at a cost. And I'm not just talking about the price tag on that frozen pizza. These ultra-processed foods are designed to be easy. They're pre-packaged, pre-cooked, and pre-digested. Okay, not really, but sometimes it feels that way. And while they might save you time in the kitchen, they're stealing time from your life in the long run. These foods are often high in calories, sugar, and unhealthy fats, but low in the nutrients your body actually needs. So the next time you reach for that microwavable meal, ask yourself, is this convenience really worth the cost? All right, let's pull back the curtain on big food, shall we? It's time to expose the wizard behind the processed food Oz. These massive corporations have more secrets than a teenager's diary, and they're about as eager to share them as that teenager would be. First off, let's talk about addiction. These companies aren't just making food, they're engineering cravings. They employ armies of food scientists to create the perfect blend of salt, sugar, and fat. A combination so irresistible it makes your brain light up like a Christmas tree, but it doesn't stop there. They fund studies that downplay the harmful effects of their products, lobby politicians to block regulations, and spend billions on marketing to convince us that their ultra-processed foods are not just okay, but somehow essential to our modern lives. The deck is stacked, folks, and it's time we called their bluff. Now let's take a closer look at what's actually in these ultra-processed foods. You might be surprised or even shocked by what we find. Brace yourselves, because this ingredient list reads like the exam notes of a mad scientist. It's a complex mix of chemicals and additives. First up, we have high fructose corn syrup. This sweetener is incredibly common. This stuff is in everything from soda to bread, and it's been linked to obesity, diabetes, and liver disease. It's a major player in the health issues we face today. But wait, there's more. Let's not forget about trans fats, the dietary equivalent of a cartoon villain. These fats are lurking in many of our favorite snacks. These artificial fats were once hailed as a healthier alternative to saturated fats. Spoiler alert, they're not. In fact, they're far worse for your health. They're actually worse, raising your bad cholesterol and lowering your good cholesterol. This imbalance can lead to serious heart issues. But we're not done yet, folks. Let's talk about artificial colors. These are added to make our food look more appealing and vibrant. These synthetic dyes are added to make our food look more appealing. These dyes have been linked to hyperactivity in children and even cancer in animal studies. It's a risk many are unaware of. And finally, we have preservatives. These are used to extend the shelf life of products. Many of these chemicals have been linked to health issues ranging from allergic reactions to cancer. It's a trade-off between convenience and health. So the next time you're reading a food label, remember, if you can't pronounce it, your body probably can't process it. Be mindful of what you consume. Section 5. Why cheap food isn't really cheap. One of the biggest selling points of processed foods is their affordability. They're cheap, they're everywhere, and they're always on sale. But here's the thing. This cheap food comes with a hefty price tag that you won't see at the checkout counter. It's a bit like those buy now, pay later schemes, except instead of paying with money, you're paying with your health. You see, while that dollar menu burger might seem like a bargain now, it's setting you up for a whole host of expensive health problems down the line. Obesity, diabetes, heart disease. These aren't just words your doctor mumbles while shaking their head disapprovingly. They're serious conditions that come with serious medical bills. The healthcare costs associated with diet-related diseases are astronomical, and guess who's footing that bill? That's right, all of us. So the next time you're tempted by that bargain bucket of fluorescent chicken parts, remember, the real cost might be more than you bargained for. Section 6. Plants, the superheroes your body needs. All right, folks, it's time to talk about the unsung heroes of the food world. I'm talking about plants. Yes, those green things your mum used to force you to eat. Turn out she was onto something. Plants are like the Avengers of the food world. They're packed with superpowers that can help save your body from the villainous processed foods. Plants are loaded with fiber, which is like nature's broom for your insides. It sweeps through your digestive system, keeping things moving and helping to prevent everything from constipation to colon cancer. Plants are also bursting with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. These are the things that keep your body running smoothly, fight off diseases, and even help slow down the aging process. And the best part? They do all this without any weird side effects or disclaimers that take longer to read than War and Peace. Section 7. Processed meats, the silent killer on your sandwich. Now let's talk about something that might be lurking in your fridge right now. I'm talking about processed meats. You know, those convenient slices of what we optimistically call ham or turkey that make lunchtime a breeze. Well, folks, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but these meats are about as good for you as a cigarette sandwich. These meats have been classified by the World Health Organization as Group 1 carcinogens. That's the same group as tobacco and asbestos. These chemicals can form compounds in your body that damage cells and potentially lead to cancer. Processed meats have also been linked to heart disease and diabetes. So the next time you're making a sandwich, maybe consider swapping out that processed meat for some hummus or avocado. Section 8. Breaking free from the processed food trap. All right, folks, now that we've thoroughly ruined your appetite for anything that comes in a box or a can, let's talk about how to break free from this processed food prison. It's not as hard as it seems, and the benefits are absolutely worth it. First things first, let's talk about reading labels. This is your first line of defense against hidden sugars, unhealthy fats, and mysterious chemicals. Those ingredient lists are like the credits at the end of a movie. Long, boring, and full of names you can't pronounce. But unlike movie credits, what's listed there actually matters. Every ingredient tells a story about what you're putting into your body, but unlike movie credits, what's listed there actually matters. If you need a chemistry degree to understand what's in your food, it's probably best to put it back on the shelf. If you need a chemistry degree to understand what's in your food, it's probably best to put it back on the shelf. Stick to ingredients you recognize and can pronounce. Next up, let's talk about cooking. Now, I'm not saying you need to become the next Gordon Ramsay. Please don't, one is enough. But learning to cook some simple meals can go a long way in reducing your reliance on processed foods. Now, I'm not saying you need to become the next Gordon Ramsay. Please don't, one is enough. But learning to cook some simple meals can go a long way in reducing your reliance on processed foods. Start with basic recipes and gradually expand your culinary skills. But learning to cook some simple meals can go a long way in reducing your reliance on processed foods. Think of it as an investment in your health and well-being. Now, I know what you're thinking, but John, I don't have time to cook. Well, my friend, that's what meal prep is for. Spend a couple of hours on Sunday making meals for the week, and suddenly you're living in the future where healthy food magically appears in your fridge. Spend a couple of hours on Sunday making meals for the week, and suddenly you're living in the future where healthy food magically appears in your fridge. It saves time, reduces stress, and ensures you always have nutritious options on hand. Lastly, let's talk about snacking. There are plenty of whole food snacks that are just as convenient and way better for you. Think fruits, nuts, or even homemade trail mix. These options are not only healthier, but also more satisfying. Think fruits, nuts, or even homemade trail mix. By making these small changes, you can break free from the processed food trap and start living a healthier, more vibrant life. Section 9, Your Health, Your Choice, a call to action. All right, folks, we've been on quite a journey together. We've laughed, we've cried, we've looked at our pantries with a mixture of horror and betrayal. But now it's time for the grand finale, the call to action, the part where I channel my inner motivational speaker and try to convince you to change your life. Here's the thing, your health is in your hands. Or more accurately, it's on your plate. Every time you eat, you're making a choice. And I'm not talking about the choice between chocolate or vanilla, although that is a serious decision that shouldn't be taken lightly. I'm talking about the choice between processed foods that are slowly turning your insides into a chemical waste dump, and whole foods that are basically your body's best friends. Maybe swap out that mid-afternoon candy bar for an apple, or try making your own salad dressing instead of using the bottled stuff that's more chemical than food.